Hey guys, what's up? It's Ash, and welcome back to my channel. If you're into real chilling late-night stories that actually stay with you, then you're in the right place. Today's video is going to be intense, like genuinely unsettling. These are stories I found on Reddit that felt way too real to ignore, and once I read them, I knew I had to share them with you guys. So grab your headphones, turn off the lights, and let's get into it. This story was written by Emily, and I originally came across it on Reddit. The moment I read it, it stayed with me. The kind of story that quietly gets under your skin and doesn't really leave. I really liked it, and I hope you guys enjoy it just as much. So, let's get started. Emily moved into room 217 a week after the hostel reopened, telling herself it was just temporary, just a place to sleep until things felt normal again. The first night was exactly that. Quiet, uneventful, almost comforting in its stillness, and she remembered thinking she had overestimated how scary it would be. But on the second night, something shifted, not visibly, not in a way she could point to, just a feeling. Like the room had become aware of her, and she kept turning over in bed because it felt like someone was standing near the corner, just outside her line of sight, watching. And every time she forced herself to look, there was nothing there, just the same blank wall and folded chair. Yet the feeling didn't leave. It just settled deeper into her chest. By the third night, it got worse. The air felt heavier, harder to breathe in. And she woke up around 3 a.m. with the strange certainty that she hadn't been alone while she was asleep, like someone had been moving quietly around the room, and she even thought she heard a faint shifting sound near the floor. But when she sat up, everything froze into silence again, as if whatever it was had stopped the moment she noticed, and that morning she couldn't ignore it anymore. So she told her friend in the common area, trying to laugh it off, saying it was probably just her mind playing tricks, but her friend didn't laugh back. She just stared at her for a moment and then asked softly, "You're in 217, right?" And when Emily nodded, that's when she told her about the boy who had stayed there before the lockdown, how he had been bullied for months until he couldn't take it anymore and ended his life in that room. And suddenly, everything Emily had been feeling didn't seem so irrational anymore. It felt explained, and that scared her even more. She couldn't leave, though. The money was already paid. There was nowhere else to go. So that night, she decided to protect herself the only way she knew how, by playing a soft Guardian Psalm recital on her phone before sleeping, letting the steady, calming voice fill the silence, and for a few nights, it worked. It gave her something to hold on to, something to convince herself she wasn't alone in a bad way. But then came the night when, sometime past midnight, the recitation suddenly cut off mid-line as her phone died, and she woke up into a silence so deep it felt unnatural, like the room had been waiting for that exact moment. And as she lay there, her heart already racing, she heard it again. Clearer this time, a slow, dragging sound across the floor, and before she could even react, a violent crack split the air, making her scream as her eyes snapped toward the wall, where her phone now lay shattered on the ground, pieces scattered as if it had been thrown with force. And in that moment, every doubt disappeared. She didn't question anything. She just ran, barefoot and shaking, down the empty hallway to the warden's room, banging on the door until it opened, and she spent the rest of the night sitting on a bench outside, staring down the corridor toward room 217, unable to look away, as if something might come out if she did. And the next morning she called her parents from another phone and asked them to take her home, giving no explanation, keeping everything locked inside, including the one thing she never told anyone, that just before she ran, in the brief second between the sound and her scream, she had the unmistakable feeling that whatever was in that room had been waiting for her to realize it was there. That was honestly an amazing story by Emily. And, I won't lie, it was genuinely terrifying. The kind of scary that doesn't rely on jumps, but just slowly builds inside you and stays there. It felt real, and that's what made it worse. Now, I have another story for you guys. This one is from Ryan, and I also found it on Reddit. It's written in a very raw, real way. Almost like you're reading someone's final message rather than a story. So here's how it goes. Ryan starts by saying that he's writing this from a McDonald's in Tulsa, Oklahoma, even though he actually lives in Portland, Oregon. He's been on the road for 6 days straight, barely sleeping, spending nights either in his car or in random motels where he checks in under fake names, pays cash, keeps the curtains shut, and leaves before sunrise because something is following him. Both times he stayed at a motel, the same thing happened. A grey sedan would appear after he left, follow him for exactly 11 miles, and then disappear. Not 10, not 12, always 11. And somehow, that consistency is more disturbing than randomness. He says the beginning is important, because that's where everything went wrong. His best friend, Joel Crane, someone he's known for 22 years, sent him a link one night, just a casual message. "Bro, you need to see this." Nothing unusual. They were both into tech, both familiar with the dark web, so Ryan didn't hesitate. He opened the link through Tor. That's where things changed. The site loaded slowly, and Ryan noticed something strange. The URL had changed while loading, completely different from what Joel sent. That was his first instinct to close it, but he didn't. At the top of the page were 4 words, "You have been selected." The site knew his full name. It showed his IP address, something that shouldn't even be possible through Tor. And then it said something even worse, that he had been brought there by someone who had already completed their part and paid a price for it. He had 30 seconds to close the page. He closed it at 22, and that's the part that still haunts him, because it wasn't enough. Days later, things started appearing. Places, locations, exactly like the ones he had briefly seen on the site before closing it. Parking lots, highways, random spots, except now they weren't images anymore. They were real. Places from his own life, appearing in sequence, like he was moving through something pre-planned. At the same time, Joel disappeared. No calls, no messages. His apartment was found empty, like he just vanished without warning. Ryan started driving, not toward Joel, but away, because deep down, he felt like going where he was supposed to go would mean something worse. And then the grey sedan started appearing, always after him, always 11 miles, never closer, never farther. He tried finding the website again, but it was gone. His posts about it were deleted. Someone replied only once. "Stop looking. Looking makes it faster." He also found out Joel had sent the link to someone else, a woman who said she closed it at 28 seconds and hadn't experienced anything yet. But Ryan doesn't believe she's safe. Now he's still running. He says there are 4 locations left in whatever sequence this is. 4 places from his life he hasn't encountered yet, and he doesn't know what happens when it ends. So he's doing the only thing he can, staying in places that don't belong to him. Random stops, highways, fast food parking lots, anywhere that wasn't part of the life the site seemed to map. Because he believes, whatever this is, can only find you in the places it already knows. And the scariest part? He ends by saying the battery on his device is about to die, and he doesn't know how much longer he can keep running. Honestly, this story left me unsettled in a completely different way. It's not just scary, it feels possible. The kind of fear that doesn't scream, but quietly follows you. Like something that knows that was the story. Where you are and is just waiting for you to reach the right place. This one really got under my skin. It's not just scary, It's the kind of fear that follows you even after the story ends, and that's what makes it different. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which story hit you the hardest. Or if you want more like this, I've got a lot more coming. Until then, stay safe and don't look too closely at the dark.